What's up guys, Dan Frullani here and welcome back to a new video. Today I would like to show something to all the people who own a crop sensor camera or would like to buy one, especially if the camera is a Canon R7, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a Canon R7, but any crop sensor camera that crops the image times 1.6. So let's say you're interested in one crop sensor camera, and let's say on the Canon R7 for example, but it can be any other camera as I already said. But let's say you don't have a big studio available. Maybe you will have to shoot videos and photos in a small room, like this for example. It's not huge. If that's the case, there's something you need to know. If you decide to buy, or if you own a crop sensor camera and you use something like the 16 to 35 millimeters, at 16 millimeters you'll be fine. It's wide enough pretty much anywhere, even though on a crop sensor camera it's not 16 millimeters, it's more like a 25-ish or something like that, but it's still pretty good for a room like this. Right now I'm using a 35 millimeters, but I'm on a full frame camera, the Canon R6. So let's say you want a prime lens because you're already using the 16-35 millimeters or something similar, and you want something tighter and or with a wider aperture, like a 35 millimeters, a 50 millimeters, and an 85 millimeters. Let's say you want to choose from these three focal lengths, and let's see what they look like on full frame and on the Canon R7, a crop sensor camera. Okay, in the samples I stood on the same spot. I just changed the lens each time to shoot each sample, but both the camera and the subject, me in this case, were the very same spot, more or less. I did my best to stay on the very same spot, and that was just to give you an idea about the field of view, the amount of stuff in frame. Now that's not the only difference, because when we use a 35 or a 50 or an 85 millimeters, they don't look the same. Even if we reframe the subject to make it look like similar, they have a few differences, and the most noticeable difference is the compression of the background. So even though we can frame ourselves to make the photo or the video, like in this case the clip, look in the same way in all three focal lengths, still the final result would be different. What you see in the background and the compression of the background and the blur behind the subject and before the subject, if there's something like in the foreground, will definitely look different. You've seen the samples, let me know what you think about it and leave a comment down below and hit the like button. And check the links in the description to see all my gear stuff and things, my gear. And check the link to Epidemic Sound if you want 1 month of awesome music and great sound effects. 1 month for free. So which one is the best? Wrong question. Which one is the most suitable for you, depending on the space of the room you have available and depending on your personal taste. There is another thing to say, that if you own a Canon R7, you can use a 35, a 50 and an 85 millimeters EF version, and you can adapt them to the R7 with a speed booster, and the result would be similar to a full frame. But check out my video or my videos where I talk about it. But thing is, if you're using R-mount lenses, you can't use any speed booster, because the speed booster is an adapter and it works only if you use EF lenses. Keep that in mind. 35, 50, 85 millimeters. Which one do I prefer? For my Canon R6, I definitely love the 85 millimeters or the 35 millimeters. Not a big fan of the nifty 50, but that's just me, my personal taste. However, we're not talking about full frame here, but crop sensor cameras. So for the R7, which one do I prefer? Well, definitely the 35 millimeters. Obviously, my judgment has been influenced by the fact that it's a crop sensor camera, so everything is tighter. Of course, in a place like this that's not huge, I want it as wide as possible. However, with a 35 millimeters, even though cropped with the Canon R7, I can still get good results. Its sharpness, it's not like stellar, it's not like astonishing, far from it, but the compression is pretty nice. If I had a bigger room, I would definitely go for the 85 millimeters, but under these circumstances, the 85 millimeters here in my studio just doesn't work. I mean, with the Canon R6, it's fine, but on a crop sensor camera, it's just too tight for this place. Alright, I think I don't have anything else to say, and I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, smash the like button right now, subscribe if you ain't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Oh yeah!